This is the IST Health Tip of the Day. I'm your host, Roberto Parker. This podcast, we tackle the tough questions related to exercise, training for athletes, human performance, biochemical, biomechanical dysfunctions, problems that sometimes you have questions about that you don't quite know the answer to. So stay tuned, enjoy, take good notes, and God bless. What's up, guys? Roberto here, another IST Health Tip of the Day. Today's topic is it possible that you can work out too much? How often should I work out? Now, there's different ways of working out. There's weightlifting, there's running, there's circuit training, there's high intensity training. Are you a competitive athlete training for some sort of an event? Now, each one of those that I just mentioned has their own dynamic to it. For example, well, before I get into that, let me just talk about this stress. Working out is another form of stress. That's what it is, guys. There's physical stress, there's mental stress, and there's emotional stress. Working out is physical stress on the body. Every time you pick up something heavy, do high impact type of training like jumping or sprinting or heavy duty weightlifting or even circuit training, you're tearing your muscles down a little bit. There's micro tears in the fibers of the muscle. Now, where you get stronger is during recovery. When you go to bed, you sleep, your body rebuilds itself, remodels itself. So having said that, for most people out there, I would say that high intensity training or heavy duty training or weightlifting every day or running every day is not a good thing to do for the most part. Now, let's say you're an NFL football player, an NBA basketball player, a hockey player, a high school athlete. Well, you good luck trying to tell your coach, we should only practice 3 days a week, because that's not going to happen. Now, when you're younger, you can get away with it more because your body is young and you recover much faster. But as you become older, after age 30, 35, or 40, I'd say you really got to monitor what you're doing in terms of trying to train hard every day. It's not possible for the most part. There's some people who are just freaks of nature, I will admit that. They can go hard every day. Now, how do you know when your body's not responding like it should? How well are you sleeping? What type of mood are you in? Are you energetic? What type of food cravings do you have? What is your hunger in terms of eating good quality foods? Pretty good. If any one of those, I call it the SMEC. If any one of those are out of balance, you might be overtraining. Now, I know people that are distance runners who run miles and miles every day. I do not recommend that for most people. That's overdoing it. I know people who will go to the gym and just pump iron every day. I do not recommend that for most people. Now, having said that, there are ways where you can monitor your intensity cycles. For example, one day you go heavy, the next day maybe you do mainly some stretching, the next day you go fairly light, the next day you do some stretching, the third day you go moderately. That's just one example right there. One way that you can do something every day if you feel guilty about it and not really tear your body down. That's just one example. Now, my background is coaching athletes. I was a NCAA college strength coach for years. I was in the NFL for 2 years as a coach, as a strength and conditioning coach. And I can tell you, most athletes, I'm talking high performance athletes, most athletes overtrain. Now, having said that, most athletes are under the age of 30. And their recovery is much more efficient than someone who's over 30. That is why the older athletes that you see in the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, hockey, they don't train the same way as a 22-year-old right out of college. They don't do it. They've got to taper down what they're doing. Look at a guy like Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a health freak today. He's a health nut. When he came out of college from Michigan to play for the Patriots, trust me, he wasn't eating the same way. He wasn't training the same way. But as he's gotten older, his body started to ache more, and he started to change up his diet and his training modality. That's what you have to do. Find somebody who is a professional and have them work with you. Now, let's talk about a couple of training modalities here. What about running, high intensity training, weightlifting, yoga? Well, out of those I just mentioned, you could probably do yoga every day, which is more stretching because it's not as intense on the body. But there are some forms of yoga that's more power type yoga that can strain the body. So you be careful with that. Now, having said that, if you're training every day, let me give you the science of this. If you're training hard every day, your body's going to become more fight or flight oriented. That's not how us humans are designed. There's two separate systems. There's fight and flight, and there's rest and digest, which is your sympathetic and your parasympathetic, two branches of the nervous system. We are designed to be more rest and digest. Now, having said that, there are times you have to be in the fight or flight mode, because at one time we all lived in the wild. So you're walking for hours and hours and hours. Let's say you're a primitive human being living out in the wild. All of a sudden, a bear comes up on you, and you got to run like hell from that bear or from that lion. So you got to sprint very, very hard. There's your fight or flight. On the other hand, maybe you got to hunt down a rabbit or a deer. And all of a sudden you see that wild animal, you got your spear in your hand, and you got to chuck your spear in him. Maybe you may have to chase him down for a little bit too, because he might be mortally wounded. So there's your rest and digest versus your fight and flight. Now, we are more rest and digest oriented. We are designed to do small bouts of heavy duty training for the most part. I repeat that. We are designed to do small bouts of heavy duty training, sprinting, jumping, lifting, climbing. Not every single day, not 5, 10, 8 hours a day. That's not going to cut it. You're just tearing yourself down if you're doing that. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to gain muscle, if you're doing it every day, trying to kick your butt doing it, guys, you're taking one step forward and maybe 1 or 2 steps back. It's more important to focus on good quality training, good quality rest and recovery. And I just don't mean sleeping. I'm talking about maybe taking a cold dip, which has been found in research to help recover. I'm talking about taking a cold shower, which can also help recover muscles. I'm talking about the way you're eating, good quality protein, good quality fats. And if you're really into a lot of heavy duty training, you could probably cheat on carbs a little bit more. Good quality foods. Reduce the stress. Do some stretching every day. That is what we call recovery in between your heavy duty days. Now, some people are not into all that stuff. Roberto, I just want to go to the gym, do my thing, then I got to go to work, and I got to work. I don't have time to do all that crazy scientific stuff. I get that. But all I'm telling you is this. You've got to taper. You've got to have a plan of action. And that's where having a trainer, a coach who knows what they're doing will benefit you, will really benefit you. Now, there's things you can look at on YouTube and some of these different podcasts. And in fact, I do a podcast myself and some of these articles on the internet. But I'm just telling you guys, there's nothing like having a private trainer who can work with you, because another factor is your motivation levels. You can go on YouTube, you can go to these different websites, and they'll give you the greatest workout in the world. But if you're not motivated to do it, you're not going to do it. You might do it for a few days, maybe in a few weeks, maybe a few months, but you're not going to stick with it. You got to find something that's going to fit your lifestyle and your motivation levels. And the bottom line is this. Don't bust your ass every single day. You can be active every day. If you want to walk every day, do that. Maybe ride your bicycle every day, as long as you're not going up and down a steep mountain grade. Ride your bike every day to work, do that. Just be careful on the roads now. Okay? Be active every day. Don't go out and lift heavy weights. Don't go out every day and do heavy weights. Don't go out and run 8 miles a day. Don't do that. Don't do high intensity circuit training for 2 hours a day. Don't go to the gym and stay on the treadmill for 2 hours a day. Don't do that. All you're doing is taking her one step forward and one step back, maybe two steps back. Okay? So, guys, take this information for what it's worth. I've been doing this stuff for about 40 years now. 40 years I've been doing this. Training athletes, training people who are not quite as athletic, because really we're all athletes. Some are just more competitive than others. So if you need some help from myself, I do personal training, I do counseling, I do some virtual stuff, I do sports performance training. If you're an athletic person who wants to compete in some sort of an event, I've trained athletes from the highest levels, from the NFL, from college. So give me a call. I can work with you also on menu planning. If you want to plan out a menu for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year, I can help you with that. So give me a call. Guys, this has been an IST Health Tip of the Day. Take care and God bless. Bye bye.